This is the much anticipated and totally new Rocketbook Axis, a completely redesigned, hardcover, reusable notebook that's made from recycled materials and which has adopted the modular magnetic binding system from the Rocketbook Orbit into a sidebound form factor. And after 2 weeks of use, I have to say, this is easily the most impressive and well thought out Rocketbook to date, by a long shot. I own and have reviewed just about every Rocketbook product that's been released, so when the Axis campaign launched on Kickstarter at the end of March 2020, I immediately got my pledge in. And while I was optimistic that it would be a nice improvement over Rocketbook's standard notebooks, which I already like, I wasn't expecting them to address pretty much all of my nitpick issues, namely the flimsy scratchable cover, the somewhat bulky capsule needed for transit, and the sidebound palm interference. I won't go so far as saying that the Axis is perfect, but it's pretty close. And yes, it still features the same friction ink compatible synthetic pages that work with the Rocketbook app to expedite the scanning process and allow the notebook to be erased and reused with just a little water. The first thing you'll notice with the Rocketbook Axis is its minimalistic hardcover. The front and back are nice and firm and feature a new, enhanced texture that wraps seamlessly around the notebook. Aside from a small stamped Rocketbook logo on the backside, there's minimal branding, giving the notebook a sleek and professional, though somewhat masculine, styling. Flipping back to the front cover, there's an embedded pen pool that's slightly raised up around the edge and features an elastic retaining band, as well as a brushed metallic Rocketbook accent piece. The pen pool measures 5.8 inches in length and a little over half an inch wide, which comfortably fits a clicker or capped pilot friction pen, or a more premium standard length metallic pen like this friction compatible copper 38 pen that I recently reviewed. Though, if you do opt to use a metallic pen with the Axis, you should expect it to scratch the bottom of the plastic pen pool, and you'll want to make sure that you protect your pen from contact with the metal clasp as well. I achieved this by placing a small square of duct tape on the back of the clasp. Opening the Axis up, we're greeted by a new sidebound page pack, which uses the same removable magnetic binding rings as the Rocketbook Orbit products. In my opinion, this is a huge upgrade to the standard plastic coil binding, with the only downside being that it's more challenging to remove and reorder individual pages if you own multiple page packs and want to mix and match them. One thing that's different from the Orbit system is the magnetic docking tray, which is raised up significantly from the Axis spine and features a lead-in chamfer on the top edge, as well as a small hook on the bottom. Together, these allow page packs to be securely slid into place by resting the metallic rings above their respective cutouts, then sliding them down. Once in place, the hook keeps the page pack secure even when the flexible spine is opened fully, allowing pages to flip all the way around without any interference. The page packs themselves have also been redesigned to include a small title bar and date bar at the top of the page, which works with the Rocketbook app's Smart Titles feature to name your scanned backup files using this handwritten text. The pages also include a redesigned footer featuring a micro QR code, along with the standard 7 destination footer icons, which expedite sending your scanned files to a custom destination with a simple mark of a pen, as well as a new tag section. Here you can write out a tag word or two that will be captured and used with the Rocketbook app's Smart Tags feature to provide additional context to your digital backups. For more information on smart tags, titles, and how to configure the destination footer, check out my Everything Rocketbook playlist. Other than this, the Axis page packs are very similar to the standard core notebooks in terms of the overall shape and working space. The executive lined and dot grid page pack that comes with the Axis by default features 24 faint 5-inch wide dotted lines on the front side of each page, and 16 faint dot grid units moving horizontally and 22 vertically on the back. Similar to the Orbit page packs, you also get 20 double-sided pages in each pack, which is a little better than the 16 or 18 pages that come in the letter and executive-sized core notebooks, respectively. And though all the page pack styles haven't officially been announced yet, I would expect to see fully lined, dot grid, blank, graph, and agenda-styled Axis page packs in the future, similar to the Orbit lineup, as well as a few more. Aside from this, the only other feature worth noting on the inside of the Axis is the hardcover itself, which has a coarser texture compared to the outside. This is quite grippy, both to touch and when placed on a desk. It also seems to be wipeable, in the event that you accidentally mark it with an erasable friction pen. Over the past few weeks that I've been using the Rocketbook Axis, I've really come to love this notebook. The most striking part of the redesign for me is the texture, both on the inside and outside of the hardcover. On the outside, it feels very smooth, but at the same time a little rubbery, which gives the Axis a premium look and feel, as well as plenty of grip when placed on a smooth desk. It's also quite slim overall. This executive-size Axis is about 9.5 inches tall and 6 7/8 wide, which is only slightly larger than the page packs, and it weighs in right around 14 ounces, so it feels solid but not heavy. When closed, the Axis has a slightly wedged cross-section that's just under 3/4 of an inch at its thickest. This design prevents the top cover from coming into contact with the first page, conveniently allowing you to close the notebook within the 15-second window where the friction ink is still drying. And as long as you don't flip the notebook upside down immediately, this should prevent smudging. When opened into a 2-page spread, the Axis writing experience is similar to the standard core notebook, with the metallic binding protruding out of the center and causing a little bit of palm interference. However, as I mentioned earlier, you can fully open the Axis into a single page orientation, which causes the binding rings to fall flat on the page, creating a seamless writing experience on both the front and back side, regardless of whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Having said that, lefties may still need to adapt their wrist orientation to avoid smudging the wet friction ink. It's important to note that the first few times you open the Axis, there may be an air gap between the front and back covers, but this can be eliminated by gently squeezing the covers together, as there's 3 pairs of rare earth magnets about 1 inch inside the spine, which once engaged, keep the Axis perfectly folded. The pen pool does cause a slight gap between these surfaces on the outer edge, but its effect is imperceivable when writing. I have to commend the Rocketbook team for this folding mechanism. It is so well thought out and truly takes the Axis to a whole new level of comfort when writing, regardless of whether you're using the top page or flipping through the page pack. This single page mode is also perfect for on-the-go use because the hardcover provides plenty of support and the notebook texture plenty of grip. Finally, the Rocketbook Axis is also really well designed for commuting. The hardcover design is slim but durable, showing no signs of scratching yet. Unlike the plastic covers of the standard Rocketbook notebooks, which scratch quite easily. This means that you can enjoy the Axis as is without needing to purchase an additional capsule folio, which, while effective, I've always found to be a little bulky. The downside of this minimalistic hardcover design is that it only has room for 1 pen and perhaps a Rocketbook towel tucked inside the cover, but no additional page packs or spray bottles for on-the-go erasing. Having said that, you can attach a pen station to the back side of the Axis to hold an extra pen or spray bottle on the go. Additionally, Rocketbook is working on an accordion-style carrying case for extra page packs. But in the meantime, I'd be happy to travel with a single page pack, given all of the other improvements that have been made to the Axis. Aside from this, the only other real potential concern for the Axis is the usability of the page pack's magnetic binding system. As I mentioned, the new chamfer and hook mechanism that enables the ultra sleek and slim single page mode is different than the simple snap-in dock of the Orbit. So it does take some practice to perfect your technique of engaging and disengaging the pages. But after about 20 minutes of practice, I managed to more or less master the process. though I do wonder if strengthening the spine's magnets to be more like the Orbit would help or hinder the process. Overall, if you're in the market for a reusable notebook, I would wholeheartedly recommend the Rocketbook Axis. Though I am a big fan of their earlier notebooks, as well as the Orbit clipboard, I think it's fair to say that the Axis is a significant upgrade, and one that I expect will dominate my desk for quite some time. I really love the slim but sturdy construction, as well as the elegance of the smooth, single-page writing experience. It's clear to me from this redesign that Rocketbook has been listening to their users' needs closely. Currently, in early March of 2021, Rocketbook is finishing fulfilling its Kickstarter orders, but they expect to offer the Axis on their website in mid to late April. Given the Kickstarter price, I would expect the Axis to cost somewhere around $60, with additional or replacement page packs coming in around $18 to $20 like the Orbit. This is a fair bit more expensive than the standard core notebook, which costs $32 to $34 depending on the size, but if you were planning on buying a capsule folio to keep your core notebook safe in transit, the price is comparable. Either way, Rocketbook has been nice enough to provide my viewers with an additional discount code, which you can access using the link that I'll leave in the description below. Otherwise, if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.